In this video, I would like to share with you another piece of music I wrote back in the 1980s, and it's another piece from my Rediscovered Tapes. If you would like to know what that's all about, a card should be popping up here, and I will also leave a couple of links in the description so you can get more information about that. But in brief, at the time I was using a Roland 100M modular synthesizer, a Roland RE501 Space Echo and a Roland TR606 Drumatix drum machine. And I was recording to a Teac A3440 4-track reel-to-reel multi-track tape recorder. A far cry from the fantastic computer-based DAWs we have today, but at the time it was absolutely wonderful and great fun. Now, there are a couple of things I would like to discuss before we get into the music. The first is the wonderful name, 7/4 tune. Now, I would like to ask you when, at what point, or how do you get the names for your tunes? For me, they generally come in one of three ways. First of all, I might get an idea for a theme or the sort of music I want to write, and the name comes from that virtually before I start. The other way is when I'm actually composing or recording the piece, whatever I'm working on, whatever I'm doing, that suggests something which suggests a name, so that's always nice. And the third way is when the piece is finished, I'll do my best to relax and listen to it and see if that suggests something. Now, that doesn't always work, and it obviously didn't work in this case. I call it the 7/4 tune, not because it's entirely in 7/4, but there's a big section in the middle which is in 7/4. But by giving it a name, when I found it again on my Rediscovered Tapes, I knew exactly what it was. So where do you get the inspiration from to name your tunes? Now, the second thing I would like to say is that this is not the best mix in the world. I don't want to make excuses. I did the best job I could at the time with the gear that I had. So if you listen to this and think, oh, well, that's an absolute rubbish mix, yeah, I would probably agree with you. But I hope it doesn't detract too much from the song and from the tune. Now, the third thing I'd just like to touch on is the fact that a large part of this is recorded in 7/4 time. Now, if you're familiar with odd time signatures, that's fine. You might want to skip this section. If you're not familiar with odd time signatures, I'd just like to do a little odd time signature. It's not even a 101, it's a 100 and a bit. Because I'm just going to try to cut straight through to the essential parts of odd time signatures. So you probably know that time signatures are used to tell you how many beats there are in a bar and the value of those beats. Now, for the purposes of this 100 and a bit explanation, I'm only going to talk about the number of beats. Now, within a time signature, you will find that there are accents or stresses on certain of the beats. So in 2/4, for example, which is just about as simple as you can get, the stresses on the two beats would go something like 1 2 1 2. That's pretty straightforward. In 3/4, again, the stresses, there's generally always a stress on the first beat of the bar, whatever the time signature is. In 3/4, which is also known as waltz time, the count for that would go 1 2 3 1 2 3, like that. Moving up to 4/4, I know, just bear with me for a second, we're getting there. In 4/4, there are usually two stressed beats. The first beat, which is the most stressed, and the third beat, which doesn't have quite the same amount of stress. So that would be something like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, something like that. Now then, we get onto the odd time signatures. Now, if you're talking about odd time signatures, you'll be talking about time signatures like 5/4 and 7/4, and there are even more complicated time signatures than that, but we're just going to stick to the basics here. So with 5/4, usually the 5 beats are divided up into a group of 3 and a group of 2. So if the group of 3 comes first, followed by the group of 2, the stresses might be 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2. Or if you want to count in 5, it would be 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. Now, there are dozens and dozens of absolutely wonderful pieces of music written in 5/4 time, probably the most well-known and certainly one of the best is Dave Brubeck's Take 5. Dave Brubeck recorded, he was a jazz musician who recorded a lot of fantastic pieces of music, a lot in odd time signatures. If you haven't heard Take 5, there's probably umpteen versions on YouTube, and it will undoubtedly be on your on the streaming service of your choice. Another really well-known piece in 5/4 is the Mission Impossible theme. Bum 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 bum. So it's not a straight 5 beats, but it's slightly syncopated, but that is in 5/4 time. Very very catchy. And of course a lot of classical composers use 5/4 time. Gustav Holst, in his Planet Suite, Mars, the Bringer of War, is in 5/4 time. And there's lots of other examples if you want to go out and explore them. Now then, let's get on to 7/4. As with 5/4 and as with virtually all odd time signatures, the 7 beats can be broken up in several different ways. Now, I am only going to mention the 2 most common ones and the 2 most obvious ones, which is to break up the 7 beats into a group of 4 and a group of 3. So the count and the stresses for that would be something like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3. And if you want to count that in 7s, that would be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So again, there are lots of wonderful examples of pieces of music written in 7/4 time. Dave Brubeck, again, his Unsquared Dance is in 7/4 time. In the pop world, a lot of pop musicians have used 7/4. Peter Gabriel's Salisbury Hill is written in 7/4, and Pink Floyd's Money is written in 7/4. So I would like to ask you a question. So when you listen to this, is the 7/4 section a combination of 4/4 followed by 3/4, or is it a combination of 3/4 followed by 4/4? Or can you not tell, or does it not really matter? I'd be really interested in what you think. Leave a comment down below, that would be much appreciated. Now let's get into the music. As YouTube is a visual medium, I think it's only fair to add some sort of visuals to the music to give you something to look at while you're listening to it and to enhance your viewing experience. Now, the other pieces on this channel which have proper names was slightly easier to work with because the names were suggestive of something. 7/4, it didn't really suggest anything. But I did have a little bit thinking. I came up with some visuals which I hope fit and which go well with it. And by the way, if you do have any suggestions of names for the piece, I'd be really interested to hear those too. So let's get into the music. If you found this interesting and would like to see and hear more, then please do consider subscribing and ring the bell. Thank you, so you know whenever I release a new video. And feel free to click the big thumb as well. As ever, thank you very much indeed for staying with me this far, and I will see you in the next video.